In the aftermath of King of the Ring, welcome back to the Battle of the B-Shows. There's been a major shift for the WWE, as this past week has had some important moments that will affect the look of the company in one way or another. Brock Lesnar would defeat RVD in the tournament finals to become the last King of the Ring winner for the next 4 years and secure his undisputed title match at SummerSlam. We also had some title changes, with Molly Holly winning the Women's Championship, as well as Jamie Noble knocking off the Hurricane to take the Cruiserweight title. And as we'll see later on Velocity, he'll be defending his newly won gold. Despite The Rock's interference in the main event, Undertaker remains WWE Champion against Triple H, but the People's Champion is already looking to insert himself back into the title picture in the very near future. Raw the following night would be the official declaration of Ruthless Aggression, as Vince told both locker rooms to step up and find their ruthlessness against their fellow competitors. Tommy Dreamer seized the opportunity by beating Raven in a loser leaves Raw match, with Dreamer's longtime rival being escorted out of the building and later getting attacked by Matt Hardy in the parking lot, adding more fuel to the fire for their encounter on Heat. Over on SmackDown, Kurt Angle finally embraced both his boldness as well as Mr. McMahon's vision of Ruthless Aggression by offering an open challenge to the Blue Brand's roster. It would be answered by the former prototype of OVW, John Cena, and despite giving Angle everything he had, would end up falling to Kurt in his main roster debut. Even Undertaker would give John props backstage for holding his own against the Olympic gold medalist, as Cena is now one of the younger or less established names being given a chance to thrive in this new era of WWE. When it comes to Cena's longevity in the company, that remains to be seen, as it's hard to imagine if he'll end up becoming a top name on SmackDown or even break any legendary records that no one else will. But we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Now with the lengthy recap over with, it's finally time to look at what's in store for the final Velocity and Heat of June. New Cruiserweight Champion Jamie Noble already has his first challenger in the main event when he goes one-on-one with Chavo Guerrero. And after trying to get his hands on Raven for what he's put himself and Jeff through, Matt Hardy finally looks for revenge against the now former Raw superstar to end the action on Sunday Night Heat. Both shows have some promising main events this week, so let's not waste another second and jump straight into Velocity. Tonight's show starts a 3-hour block of WWE on TNN, along with Confidential and a re-airing of the Divas Undressed special, as we open with the Japanese buzzsaw Tajiri taking on Albert, with both guys getting a win under their belts on last week's episode. While Cole and Taz recap King of the Ring, Albert goes to work in the corner and knocks Tajiri down before the ECW alum can duck and kick his opponent in the ribs, using his quickness to try and take the big man down, but the former Prince quickly knocks Yoshihiro down for the first near fall of the weekend. Bernard chokes Tajiri with his knee before sending him back first into the turnbuckles and canvas for another 2 count. Albert attempts a military press, but Tajiri escapes and gets to fight back, kicking him down before getting pushed out of the follow-up cover. A-Train reverses the first Tornado DDT, but a shot to the ribs leads to the second one landing, as both guys attempt their finishers before Tensai punches Tajiri to the mat. Tajiri telegraphs the bicycle kick, but gets caught in a delayed butterfly suplex, later stopping a Vader bomb and winning with the buzzsaw kick to start things off on Velocity. The former Cruiserweight Champion soars into action as the Hurricane takes on Christian and his incredible entrance. Michael Cole mentions Christian, Test, and Lance Storm having issues with Americans in recent weeks, perhaps a bit too harshly at Taz.
But the whole prejudice thing against America...
I mean, come on, Taz. Come on.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you while I was talking.
Lance Storm is turning all these mistakes by referees into international incidents. I mean, referees make mistakes. They're human beings. They make judgment calls.
Right. Okay.
It happens all the time.
I agree. Why are you yelling? I hear you. Don't get mad at me.
Christian and the Hurricane set the lock up here.
I think it's time for a song.
On Velocity. A song.
You picked a fine time to leave me, Nydia. Strong, what's the rest of the word? They got a little lyrical.
Kenny Rogers did Lucille, but I understand where you're going.
Wait a minute. Kenny Rogers did Lucille?
I understand where you're going with the Nydia thing.
As Christian and Hurricane mock each other in the early going, the superhero monkey flips the former European champion and gets a near fall, later attempting a dive only for Christian to cut him off. After suplexing Helms onto the top rope, Cage knocks him down from the apron into the barricade and continues going after his ribs in the ring, including a gutbuster that gets him a 2 count. Hurricane fights back, landing the neckbreaker that starts his comeback, avoiding the reverse DDT and setting up for the Shining Wizard, but they're not naming it directly on commentary. Christian throws Sugar Shane outside, only for him to land on the apron and grab his cape for a distraction before hitting a top rope crossbody for a close near fall. The Unprettier gets reversed into a roll-up, with Christian reversing into his own roll-up while grabbing the middle rope to steal the win on TNN. Billy Kidman comes out to some new, but not great music, heading to the ring as he faces Funaki in Cruiserweight Action. With John Cena getting praise for his debut on Thursday, both men trade holds before a dropkick from Kidman sends the Kaientai member to ringside as Billy follows with the body press before going back to the ring, only to launch himself back out after Funaki dodges a running attack. Shoichi follows with a snap suplex, but can't put the filthy animal away, going to a chin lock that doesn't last long as Billy gets in a head scissors out of the corner before attempting a sunset flip when Funaki rolls out to hit the basement dropkick. He later attempts a middle rope elbow, but misses when Kidman moves, as the trainee blows ends with an enziguri that gives Billy a 2. Funaki gets in the one-handed bulldog and a DDT that doesn't end the match, attempting a dive when Kidman follows him to the top rope and hits the Hurricane Rana to win this semi-main event. Just under a week after winning the gold in Columbus, Ohio, Jamie Noble defends the Cruiserweight Championship against the former champion in Chavo Guerrero for our Velocity main event. Chavito hits an arm drag from a tie-up, staying in control and even mocking Nydia at ringside before sliding under Noble and reversing a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to hit one of his own. The champion didn't have a great start in this match, but finally gets his chance after suplexing Chavo Jr. and stopping him out before going to the corner where he snapmares the challenger to keep him grounded. Nydia cheers her boyfriend on while the former Young Dragon submission is locked in when Guerrero gets a second win to nail the Gory Bomb for a close kickout. Noble sends Chavo onto the apron and then distracts the referee so Nydia can cut Eddie's nephew off, but it doesn't do much when Chavo stops a superplex attempt and nails a missile dropkick to the back of the head but can't win the title. Guerrero's reversal leads to a tornado DDT being reversed into a Northern Lights suplex from Jamie, later grabbing Chavo's leg and locking him into the trailer hitch to get the win and wrap up SmackDown's B-Show, still the Cruiserweight Champion. We get some Sunday Night Latino heat to start off Raw's offering, as Eddie Guerrero looks to bounce back after losing to Ric Flair at King of the Ring by tackling Spike Dudley. The crowd let Eddie know how they feel about him while he starts the offense, stopping Spike's brief reversals and viciously attacking Dudley in the corner. Spike is able to reverse and land the monkey flip, but Guerrero cuts him off again and executes the back suplex for a 2. Both guys continue trading moves when Spike is finally able to leap over Eddie and drop him down for a kickout, even reversing the brainbuster into a neckbreaker as he attempts the Dudley dog. But Eddie reverses it into a damning backbreaker, following up with a powerbomb and the frog splash to quickly put him away in our heat opener. With the push towards more up-and-coming stars in WWE, former WCW Tag Team Champion Sean O'Haire gets an opportunity to showcase his skills against Justin Credible. A tie-up towards the corner helps Credible get in some cheap shots before stopping himself from running into a rebound attack from O'Haire. Sean quickly attacks him at ringside and brings him back in, showing off some strength with a military press drop. Justin asks his opponent to take it easy. Not going to happen, of course, as the natural-born Thriller hits a smooth swanton neck snap that gets ignored by Coach Indilo on commentary as they instead discuss Tori Wilson winning the Golden Thon Award during the Divas Undress special. Meanwhile, Credible superkicks O'Haire to the outside, attempting to win the match, but gets launched off from the cover. Justin keeps momentum on his side, but a rebound elbow is unable to get the job done before Sean starts his comeback, returning the favor with his own superkick and the exclamation point via a Widowmaker to get an impressive victory on Sunday Night Heat. We go backstage where Terry interviews Johnny Stamboli, despite her and Johnny himself still using Johnny the Bull. Johnny says he doesn't like Tommy Dreamer and tells him to respect the Bull. The former Mamaluke arrives on MTV to face Mr. Dreamer in singles action, with Jacqueline serving as the official for this one. Johnny goes for the ribs of the innovator of violence, but just as quickly gets hip-tossed by Tommy before he's clotheslined to the floor. Much like 2 weeks ago, Dreamer grabs a drink from the crowd and spits it into the Bull's face, nailing the Russian leg sweep, all while holding the cup in his other hand. Johnny launches his opponent into the stun gun, stomping out the hardcore veteran on the ropes and choking him in the corner before Jackie has to push him out. Tommy gets in a few shots but gets cut off with a clothesline that gives Stamboli a 2. While Jacqueline's doing a good job enforcing the rules, the former WCW Hardcore Champion slams and leg drops Dreamer, leaping to the top rope only to get yanked off by Tommy. But in the fall, Stampoli's knee almost collides with Tommy's head. Able to recover, the ECW star regains control with a spinebuster and a DDT off the ropes for a close count. Johnny Stamboli low blows Tommy to get himself disqualified, continuing to attack Dreamer before Jacqueline clotheslines and sends him retaliating up the ramp. Despite Raven no longer being a part of Raw, it won't excuse him from finally facing the wrath of Matt Hardy as we're about to start our Heat main event. Coach points out the irony of Raven quitting Heat and now being stuck on the show, while his former broadcast partner tries and fails to get ahead of Matt. Hardy reverses his attempted corner attacks and a rebound clothesline, but the side effect gets blocked as Raven's drop toe hold sends him flying through the ropes to the floor. After a near fall off the knee drop bulldog, Raven keeps the aggression with some knees to the midsection and a knee lift, but his pile driver attempt gets reversed into a Russian leg sweep. While Coach and D'Lo talk about how impressive Brock Lesnar has become, Matt starts his comeback and even dodges a clothesline to hit the neckbreaker before the middle rope leg drop gets him a 2 count. Both superstars try to hit their finishers, ending with the side effect finally getting used for a very close fall. Raven pokes Hardy's eyes to help him dodge a running corner attack, sending the multi-time tag team champion on the ropes but gets knocked down. Matt then attempts a moonsault a la Lita when Raven moves and then steals the victory with a leverage pin and his feet on the ropes. Even with Raven being stuck on what you could call Sunday Night Purgatory, he's still able to defeat the other Hardy Boy as Heat goes off the air. So with both shows wrapped up, I'm giving the point to Velocity. SmackDown's undercard once again put on a great lineup of matches for this episode, despite how short they ended up being. Tajiri and Albert continued the clashing of styles from last week, and I thought they worked well together. Hurricane and Christian had a good showing with some funny bits, and it was nice to see these two being featured. Kidman and Funaki was another reminder of how great the Cruiserweights continue to be, though I wish Billy still got to keep his WCW theme. The main event actually surprised me, as I wasn't expecting Chavo to be given as much offense in the first portion of the match, but it helped to make him as a possible threat for Noble, as well as add more intensity for what ended up being a first-grade title defense for Jamie. Sunday Night Heat started off pretty well, with Spike being a great seller and an underdog opponent to Eddie's more aggressive offense than you'd probably be used to seeing. Sean O'Hare had a great showing against Just Incredible, and hopefully he gets to be pushed among some of the other talent within this change in direction for the company. Johnny Stamboli and Tommy Dreamer started out decent enough, and despite how they were presenting the bull off the bat, they still had him intentionally lose via DQ. I don't know why they couldn't have at least given him a victory, even if he had to cheat to do so, much like Raven did later, if they're trying to push new names onto the roster. Raven vs. Matt Hardy was a great main event. The only gripe I have is that I would have had Matt winning instead, given how Raven avoided dealing with the Hardys during last week's pre-show match, and with him now being, quote, banished from Raw. But I'm curious as to what they'll now do with Raven, since he's stuck on the B show for the foreseeable future. And with that, another episode is in the books. Next time, we'll see the aftermath of Undertaker defending the Undisputed Championship in 2 main events next week, as we begin the build to the Vengeance pay-per-view. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and to see you again for the next battle of the B-shows.